Have you ever wondered if everything you're experiencing right now, every moment, every decision is exactly where you need to be? What if you're not lost, not late, but precisely where your soul needs to be, ready to take the next step in its evolution? Now picture this waking up from a dream so vivid, so real, that for a moment you confuse it with your waking life. But what if upon reflection you realize that the real world you thought you were living in was the true dream? How would you feel if you discovered that death isn't the end, but instead an awakening? This may sound strange or even frightening at first, especially since we've been taught to fear the unknown. But what if I told you that ancient religions, brilliant philosophers, and even people who've had near-death experiences all point to the same profound truth? Death does not extinguish the light of consciousness, it merely sets it free. Imagine how this knowledge could forever change the way you view life, grief, and even your own choices in the spiritual realm. The very essence of existence in the spiritual plane is driven by one powerful motivation: the desire to evolve, to expand one's light. Death, when seen from this perspective, reveals itself not as a final end, but as a comma in the grand narrative of many lifetimes. It's not the end of the sentence, but rather a pause, a space where the soul transitions to a higher level of awareness. When the soul leaves the physical body, it enters a space of transition, a kind of cosmic waiting room where consciousness gradually adjusts to the new reality. Here, time as we know it doesn't exist. Fear, anxiety, and attachment to material things are left behind, though, not always immediately. Every soul's journey is unique, and the transition happens at its own pace, depending on its level of awakening and understanding. In this initial stage, fundamental choices arise. The soul revisits its past life, meets spiritual guides, and begins to plan its next steps. But there's no judgment, no punishment, only freedom. The soul decides what it needs to continue its journey of growth and understanding. It's in this freedom that the soul is able to chart a course for its next adventure. Understanding this process shifts our perception of life. It imbues every moment with new meaning. The pain of loss softens, guilt dissolves, and even the fear of death, the fear that often holds us back, fades into deep respect for the sheer beauty of existence. Imagine that in the face of what we once feared most, we are given the chance to live more fully with a greater sense of clarity and purpose. Many believe that at the moment of death, everything is magically resolved, that all questions are answered, and that the soul is instantly at peace. But the truth is, the soul's awakening in the spiritual plane is a moment of deep reflection, and it's not always easy. In fact, many souls upon arriving on the other side feel lost. Some are trapped in old patterns of resentment, guilt, or attachment that they carried from their physical life. Others don't yet understand what they truly need to learn in order to continue evolving. This leads to a kind of spiritual fog where the soul feels confused and stagnant, unsure of its next move. Imagine waking up from a powerful dream, but you're not sure where you are. That's what it feels like for many souls as they first cross over. To help guide them, there's an essential process called the life review. In this phase, the soul, with the assistance of spiritual mentors, beings of immense wisdom and compassion, revisits the life it has just completed. This review is not about judgment, it's about understanding. There's no punishment, only a loving and truthful analysis. What was lived? What was learned? What could have been done differently? The life review is like watching a movie of your own existence. But unlike any film you've seen before, this movie is more than just a passive viewing experience. It's an immersive experience. You feel everything, the impact of each thought, each action, each decision. And in this moment of profound reflection, the soul gains clarity, seeing its limitations and potential in a new light. With this clarity, the soul can begin to plan its next steps with deep understanding. But here's the important part. This life review is not just a reflection of the past, it's a call to action. It's an urgent reminder to live more consciously today. Every word we speak, every act of love or indifference, every choice of courage or fear, it all matters. It all echoes beyond the material world into realms that we cannot see, but are just as real. Don't wait until the spiritual plane to reflect on your life. Ask yourself now, if I were to watch the movie of my life today, what would I feel? Let that question guide you. Let it be your compass, helping you to make better choices moving forward and living more fully in the present. The common misconception is that the soul plans a life free from pain, hardship, and challenges. But in reality, it's quite the opposite. The soul's growth comes through experiences, many of which involve overcoming obstacles, facing pain, and learning powerful lessons in forgiveness, resilience, and unconditional love. These experiences are not random. They are the soul's way of balancing past actions, learning new lessons, and strengthening aspects of itself that need growth. For example, if a soul developed great intelligence in a past life but neglected compassion, it may choose to incarnate into a life where it must connect deeply with human emotions and learn empathy. If pride was a dominant force in a past life, the soul may choose a life of humility. If fear was a challenge in a previous life, the soul may choose a life that demands courage. The next mission a soul undertakes is not a punishment. It's a loving, conscious decision born from within the soul itself. It is chosen with the guidance of spiritual mentors who help the soul visualize the best paths. But the final choice is always free. When you feel a deep calling, when that dream keeps knocking at your heart, when that challenge repeats itself like an echo, when you're faced with a pain that seems to make no sense, pay attention. None of this is random. These are clues pointing to the mission your soul embraced before you were born. Many of your deepest fears also carry the seeds of your mission. The fear of failure, of not being accepted, of vulnerability, these fears often indicate the very areas where the soul needs to learn to set itself free. And now the big question: why were you born exactly where you were born? Why did you choose the family you did with all its unique characteristics, challenges, and affections? When we talk about choosing parents, we are discussing one of the most important decisions the soul makes before reincarnation. Nothing is random. Even in the hardest of cases, when there is rejection, abandonment, or suffering, there is a profound purpose behind it. However, when we look only through the eyes of the material world, we often judge our families as imperfect, problematic, or distant from what we idealized. But from the soul's perspective, comfort doesn't matter as much as growth. The soul chooses the parents that will provide the conditions it needs to experience what it must. Sometimes this means being born into homes full of love and support to learn trust, joy, and self-esteem. Other times it means being born into more challenging or dysfunctional families where resilience, compassion, self-forgiveness, or even breaking ancestral cycles of pain are required. This choice is not random or forced. The soul, with the guidance of its spiritual mentors, evaluates multiple possibilities before making this decision. It looks at the energy of the future parents, their tendencies, their karmas, their potential for evolution. It weighs the environment the soul will grow up in, the values it will receive, and the challenges it will face. And every detail, every challenge is part of the soul's divine plan. Building on the previous thoughts, we now turn to a concept that deeply influences the course of our lives: the sacred agreements and relationships that our souls form before birth. Many souls make these agreements, choosing to come into specific families, interact with particular people, and encounter certain challenges. It's as if they've set up a spiritual contract, deciding in advance who will play pivotal roles in their journey: parents, siblings, grandparents, even friends. Sometimes these souls have known each other from past lives, bound together by deep love or unfinished lessons that need to be learned. Looking at your family as part of your evolutionary path can completely shift your perspective on the relationships you have. Even if there are wounds, emotional scars, or distances between you and your loved ones, there is an opportunity hidden within them. And ask yourself, what is it that I need to learn by being born into this particular family? Perhaps it's forgiveness. Maybe it's acceptance, or the challenge of forging a new, different path. Let go of the victim mentality and embrace your role as the spiritual protagonist of your own life. Understand that with all its wisdom, your soul chose your parents. It knew exactly what you would need in order to flourish. Recognizing the sacredness of your story and honoring where you came from, not out of obligation but from awareness, releases an immense inner strength. This awareness connects you even more deeply to your true purpose. Have you ever paused to think about why you were born where you were, why this particular country, this specific culture, and why you came into existence during this precise moment in history? Nothing about your life environment is random. Every detail, the time, the place, the circumstances surrounding your birth, was chosen carefully by your soul before reincarnating. In our day-to-day lives, many people feel trapped in harsh realities. They may be living in poverty, violence, inequality, or environments where values seem to be reversed. It's easy in the midst of these challenges to feel that the world is unfair or senseless. But when we look at life with the eyes of the soul, everything changes. Culture country era, they are not random happenstances. They are the settings for your soul's learning journey. Your soul chooses its living environment as part of the script it helped write. If it needs to learn compassion, it may be born into a place where pain is visible and its actions are called for. If it needs to develop courage, it may choose to be born in times of great change. If adaptability and creativity are needed, it might choose a culture rich in diversity, yet challenging in resources. Nothing, absolutely nothing is random. Even the time in which you were born carries significance. Each generation has its own collective mission, one that involves transforming old patterns, healing wounds, and opening new paths. You are part of this greater plan. Your soul knew that this was the best time for you to develop your potential. When you understand that your environment is not a mistake, but a key part of your soul's plan, something shifts inside you. You begin to see possibilities where before you only saw limitations. Maybe you feel like you were born in a country experiencing turmoil or crisis. Perhaps your mission is to help build something new. Were you born into a culture that seems rigid or conservative? Maybe your soul came to challenge those patterns and open minds. Are you living in times of internal and external wars? Perhaps your task is to be a beacon of peace amidst the chaos. Remember, you are not in the wrong place. You are an integral part of the greater plan. Your presence here, right now, makes all the difference. But what about free will? If everything was chosen by the soul in advance, do we still have the ability to make choices? This question is powerful, and the answer is liberating. Yes. Before being born, your soul mapped out a plan. It outlined the challenges, the opportunities, and the important encounters that would help you grow. But this plan does not mean everything is predetermined. Many people, once they discover the idea of a spiritual plan, start to believe that they are merely passengers on the ride of life, trapped by an inevitable destiny. This is not the truth. Free will exists. It is sovereign. The soul's plan is like a sketch of a great map. It shows potential paths, alternatives, and possibilities. But the one who holds the compass and decides which trail to follow is you. With each conscious choice, you realign your path with your soul's greater plan. There is no such thing as permanently going off course. Even decisions that seem to take you away from your purpose will eventually become the material for your learning and growth. So the invitation is clear. Take responsibility for your life. Stop waiting for things to happen exactly as they were destined. Instead, begin actively co-creating with your spiritual plan. Sometimes alignment requires courage to leave a toxic relationship, change careers, forgive someone who has hurt you, or simply say yes to a calling of the heart. Other times it requires patience to respect the right timing of things. But always remember this, your free will is not a burden, it's a gift. It's what makes each victory, every overcoming of adversity, each act of love even more powerful. The soul trusts you. Now it's time for you to trust in your ability to choose and create a life that honors who you truly are. Before reincarnating, your soul might have planned to find love, to live an extraordinary experience, or to overcome certain challenges. But you can even refuse these challenges or decide to take longer, more complex paths. That's part of the evolution game. Some encounters you have in life carry an energy so intense you can almost feel it on your skin. It's as if time stops for a moment and the universe whispers to you, pay attention. These encounters are not random. They are reunions of souls. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to ignore these deep soul connections or mistake them for fleeting passions. But when we do, we risk losing or missing out on bonds that could be profound catalysts for our growth. Before incarnating, souls who share strong bonds of love, friendship, mission, or partnership agree to meet again in the physical world. These are the soulmates, the soul companions. The soul doesn't recognize its future soulmate with physical eyes. It recognizes them through energy. There's a magnetic pull, a deep sense of familiarity, an inexplicable peace. Sometimes it's a whirlwind that turns your life upside down, forcing you to grow. Other times it's a quiet, peaceful recognition that seems to touch the deepest parts of your being. The recognition is subtle but powerful. It's a look that pierces the layers of your existence. It's a conversation that flows as if it's been resumed from where it left off. It's a feeling of I know you from somewhere even without logical explanation. But here's the key, recognizing a soulmate doesn't mean the relationship will always be easy. Often these connections bring intense challenges because they were designed to awaken in you the parts of yourself that need healing, freedom, and strengthening. How can you apply this in practice? The first step is awareness. Not every intense connection is a soulmate reunion, and not every soulmate relationship is meant to last forever. Some come to teach, to help you complete a stage to catalyze your awakening. When you meet someone who challenges you to grow, who makes you confront your fears and embrace your potential, ask yourself, does this person help me become who I truly am? If the answer is yes, then you are likely facing a soul who was part of your life plan. Open your heart without losing sight of who you are becoming. Building on the idea that our spiritual journeys are intricately woven through the relationships and choices we make, it's essential to understand the sacred connections we form in life. These connections aren't just random occurrences, they are part of a greater plan, ones that shape our growth and guide us toward our evolution. Every bond we form has its purpose, whether it's a soulmate, a soul companion, or a spiritual contract. Sometimes we become so consumed with the idea of the perfect soulmate that we forget the deeper truth. Not every deep love is with a soulmate, and not every intense friendship is just friendship. In the spiritual realm, the bonds we form are far more varied and rich than we often realize. We tend to think that our happiness, fulfillment, and sense of completeness depend on meeting that one person or achieving a certain level of connection. But what if the real purpose of our connections is to awaken us to who we truly are? This misconception often leads to frustration, especially when our expectations don't align with the reality of these relationships. There are different types of spiritual connections, and each one serves a distinct purpose in our growth and evolution. Soulmates are those rare, deep connection spirits that share an eternal bond. These are souls that, like two sparks from the same flame, vibrate at the same frequency. Over many lifetimes, they come together to help each other evolve, to push one another toward growth. Meeting a soulmate is an intense experience. Whether it manifests as a romantic relationship, a deep friendship, or a life partnership, the connection brings an overwhelming sense of recognition. It's as if time and space fade away, leaving only the feeling of, I know you. But here's the catch, soulmates do not come into your life to save you. They come to awaken who you truly are, to help you find the parts of yourself that you haven't yet discovered. Soul companions, on the other hand, are the souls that walk with you through specific moments of your journey. They might be friends, family members, mentors, or coworkers. These relationships are gentler than soulmate connections, but equally sacred. They help you learn trust, loyalty, and patience, often without the dramatic emotional revolutions that soulmates bring. These companions support your growth constantly, but it's not always through grand gestures. It's in the quiet, everyday interactions that shape your character. Before we reincarnate, we enter into spiritual contracts with various souls. These agreements are based on love and mutual commitment to evolution. For example, you might promise to help a soul learn about self-esteem, and they promise to teach you forgiveness. Some of these contracts involve joyful, transformative encounters. Others may lead to deeper challenges, such as betrayal, abandonment, or loss. But no matter how difficult they may seem, these challenges serve a higher purpose, a lesson for your soul's growth. Instead of desperately seeking the perfect soulmate, it's important to celebrate all the souls that cross your path. Each of them carries a gift, even if it's wrapped in pain or challenge. You've never been and will never be alone on this journey. From the moment your soul chose to reincarnate, a team of love and wisdom was assigned to guide you through every step of your path. Your spiritual guides, whether you're aware of them or not, and are constantly present, ready to offer guidance and protection. In the rush of the physical world, many people forget or doubt the existence of this constant spiritual presence. They think they have to carry everything alone, unaware that help and guidance are always just a whisper away. Spiritual guides are evolved consciousnesses that have committed to help protect and inspire you during your time on Earth. They never control your choices. Instead, they fully respect your free will. Their role is to offer signs, intuitions, and support to help you align with your soul's greater plan. How do they act in practice? It can be through sudden bursts of intuition, that inner voice whispering, go this way, or don't do that without any logical explanation. It can be through external signs like a song playing at the exact right moment or a phrase from a book that jumps out at you. Sometimes they guide you through what seems like a coincidence, but feels magical as though the universe is working in your favor. They may even communicate with you in vivid dreams where you feel a sense of peace or receive subtle messages. People who appear in your path might also be instruments through which your guides communicate, opening doors or offering guidance. In addition to providing guidance, your spiritual guides also protect you from invisible dangers, steering you away from situations that are no longer part of your learning or growth. Strengthening your connection with your guides can be done through moments of silence, meditation, or simply connecting with nature. By thanking your guides even without seeing immediate results, you reinforce the relationship and become more receptive to their guidance. For centuries, the concept of karma has been misunderstood. Many view it as a cosmic punishment, a way to pay for past mistakes, which often leads to feelings of fear, guilt, and helplessness. But the truth is far more liberating. Karma is simply the natural law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action generates energy, which eventually returns to us not as punishment, but as an opportunity for balance and learning. Reincarnation is the perfect mechanism the soul uses to harmonize these energies. Over many lifetimes, the soul adjusts its actions, choices, and lessons, always aiming to evolve toward love, wisdom, and freedom. For example, if in a past life you misused power, you may choose in this life to learn about responsibility and humility. If you've caused emotional pain to someone, you may live experiences that awaken empathy and a deep respect for others' feelings. If you practice compassion and forgiveness, you will likely attract lighter, more harmonious situations and relationships. Karma is not a rigid sentence. You have free will at every moment to create new positive karma, dissolve old patterns, and change your destiny. By acting with awareness, love, and responsibility, you are planting seeds of light that will bloom either in this life or the next. Each time you encounter a challenge, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective moves you from the role of victim to the role of co-creator of your spiritual journey. Great souls often choose the most difficult challenges. When witnessing or living through extreme suffering such as illness, poverty, wars, or irreparable losses, the natural tendency is to think that this is an unfair form of punishment. But when we view these experiences through the eyes of the soul, everything changes. Some souls choose extraordinarily difficult lives to accelerate their spiritual growth, to balance old karmas, or to contribute to the collective evolution of humanity. These souls come into the world with a mission to illuminate places of pain, awaken dormant hearts, and teach lessons of compassion, strength, forgiveness, and resilience. Before incarnating, these souls see the life plan, the losses, the obstacles, and the scars. And yet they still say yes. Why? Because they know that through these challenges, they can expand their light in a profound and powerful way. Every struggle, every trial, and every terror becomes part of a greater journey toward enlightenment. And with each step, they help illuminate the world, making it a little brighter for everyone. As we reflect on the souls that choose challenging paths in life, it becomes clear that these experiences serve a higher purpose. Souls that are born with severe disabilities often teach profound lessons about acceptance, unconditional love, and respect for those around them. Similarly, souls facing terminal illnesses awaken sensitivity and compassion in their families and communities. Souls born into war zones bring powerful messages about the need for peace, justice, and reconciliation. But how does this change our view of the world? It changes everything. It changes how we view pain, our own and that of others. It changes the quick judgments we make about those living through harsh realities. And it changes how we interpret our own suffering. When you realize that life's hardships are often courageous choices made by the soul, you begin to feel a deep respect, not just for your own story, but for the stories of everyone around you. The souls that choose the hardest paths are often the ones that expand their light the fastest. They are not victims. They are spiritual warriors. And if you find yourself facing deep challenges today, know this. Your soul is greater than any pain. You are stronger than you think, and your light is just beginning to shine. You did not come into this world just to survive. You came to live with purpose, and your soul knows exactly what that purpose is. But in the rush of daily life amidst obligations, fears, and distractions, many people disconnect from this profound truth. The problem is that living without purpose generates emptiness, frustration, and a sense of being lost, even when outwardly everything seems fine. Your life's purpose is not something you need to invent. It already exists inscribed in the very essence of your soul. Connecting with it is a process of remembering, awakening, and rediscovering. So how do you reconnect with this purpose? Let me give you some very powerful key signs and synchronicities that will appear when you're getting closer to your true purpose. When you align with your soul's plan, the universe starts conspiring in your favor. The right people show up, unexpected opportunities arise, and enlightened ideas strike like lightning. Stay alert, none of this is by chance. One of the ways you can access this deeper understanding is through the Akashic records. Imagine them as a library of your soul, a vast energetic field that holds all your experiences, emotions, and learnings from all your lifetimes. Accessing these records, whether through a specialized therapist or your own practices, can reveal valuable information about your gifts, challenges, and current purpose in life. The Akashic records can offer profound insights, helping you see what your soul needs to focus on next in order to evolve. Another powerful tool is meditation and inner silence. When the mind is full of noise and distractions, it's impossible to hear the quiet whispers of your soul. Take small daily moments of silence, even if it's just 5 minutes, to reconnect with your essence. Your soul has left signs everywhere in your passions, your childhood dreams, the pains that hurt the most, and the talents that shine, even when you try to ignore them. Reconnecting to your purpose is not a luxury. It's a spiritual necessity. It's essential to your growth and peace. This is where the Quantum Thinking Challenge comes in. It offers 21 exercises and practices designed to help you reprogram your mind, align your energy, and start co-creating a new reality. The success stories I've already received are truly inspiring people who have transformed old patterns, rediscovered their purpose, and created profound changes in their lives. Perhaps your transformation story could be next. Look at your life with all its beauty, its pain, its highs and lows. Receive this truth: you are exactly where you should be. It doesn't matter if the path was harder than you planned. It doesn't matter if you stumbled, got lost, or started over 1,000 times. Every step, every choice, every tear, and every smile was necessary to bring you to this moment of awareness and awakening. The human mind loves to compare. It tells you you're late, that you haven't done enough, that you should be somewhere else. But the soul knows differently. The soul recognizes that everything blooms at the perfect time. There are no delays in the universe. There are no unforgivable mistakes. There are only paths, detours, reunions, and infinite chances to start again. If you feel the call to align your life with your purpose, know this: that call is already the first step. The universe doesn't demand perfection from you. It only asks for sincerity, courage, and the willingness to grow. Trust your path even when you don't see the next step. Your soul does. Trust it. Accept your past. Everything that happened, even the hurt, is raw material for your evolution. Be grateful for it, then let it go. Honor your present. Today is a sacred gift, and life pulses here and now, full of possibilities. Build your future with awareness. Choose thoughts that uplift you, actions that build you, and loves that set you free. You are an eternal soul on an extraordinary journey. And even if you sometimes forget, there are thousands of beings of light guides and soul companions cheering you on at every step. So the next time doubt or fear tries to stop you, remember your soul already knows the way. You just have to trust it and move forward. The universe is waiting for you to step into your power, to fully embrace your purpose, and to live the life you were always meant to lead. Don't wait any longer. Your journey is calling.